right, welcome everyone to the Voice podcast series. We are on episode 4. Today we have some really great guests with us. We have Jennie West-Correia, who is a CPF, CEC, Senior Consultant, Facilitator, Executive Coach, Leadership Development. We also have Judy-Lynn Mason, who is the CFO of ServcoCanada, and of course myself, Rachael Lolua, WIMC Committee member, also MCA Hamilton Niagara Manager. So welcome everyone. If you're new, welcome. If you listen to the other 3 episodes, welcome back. Thank you for listening to my voice upon ours. Really looking forward to today's podcast. And the episode today is going to be about the WIMC Virtual Leadership Development Program series that we are launching under the WIMC Committee. So just to get us started and just to give a background of this series, I'm just going to talk about the program series. So leadership is a capability needed in any role, whether you're a manager, any role in a company. We see leadership has the capacity to influence others for the purpose of achieving a required business outcome. The WIMC Virtual Leadership Development Program, which will also be referred to as vLDP, provides you valuable insight in the role of the leader and how to create the conditions for success for your team. The vLDP will allow you to develop the skills and knowledge required to succeed in your leadership role, building greater self-awareness, adapting your communication approach in different situations, and demonstrate leadership in selecting the strategy to engage your team members. Your learning will be enhanced through stimulating and collaborative discussions with your peers and our expert facilitator. So enough about the program for now. I'm going to get into introducing our awesome guests today. So our first one is, again, Judy-Lynn Mason, who we will refer to a little bit as JL. So a little bit about JL. She has over 2 decades of professional experience in the contracting and accounting field. Judy-Lynn Mason has owned her expertise, particularly within the dynamic realm of industrial construction. She's the Chief Financial Officer at ServcoCanada. Judy-Lynn has been on various projects and cost-related roles within the industry, which has given her a unique perspective as CFO of ServcoCanada. Her grasp of both office and field challenges enables her to communicate and troubleshoot effectively within all departments and leaders at ServcoCanada. Beyond her professional pursuits, Judy-Lynn serves as director at the Samantha Mason Foundation, a Canadian charity organization focused on youth mental wellness. Her commitment to this cause reflects her dedication to community welfare and enhancing the lives of the next generation. Judy-Lynn, again, thank you so much for being here today. Could you share a little bit about your role as chair of the WIMC Committee?
Yes, thank you, Rachel, for having me today. I am the chair of the Women in Mechanical Contracting Initiative at MCAC. I have enjoyed the last year. I'm currently starting my 2nd year, and I'm excited about what we've accomplished. And this 4-course series is our 2024 programming, and I'm pretty excited to get into it with Jennie.
All right, thanks, Judy-Lynn. And then on to our next guest, we have Jennie, who is a CPF CEC. She's a Senior Consultant, Facilitator, and Executive Coach Leadership Development. Jennie brings over 20 years of experience and deep passion, energy, and expertise in employee engagement and collaboration. Jennie is a Stratford Group Senior Consultant specializing in facilitation, training, and coaching. She also has significant experience in developing HR programs, leading people, cultivating passion and energy, and developing and delivering multi-stakeholder facility engagements, with a particular deep level experience in construction and service sectors. Jennie, could you provide some insights into what led to your decision of providing education courses?
Yeah, thank you, Rachel, and thanks, JL, for having me. As you mentioned, I've spent about 18 years working in the general contracting field for one of Canada's largest general contractors, leading their human resource and professional development department. I am a teacher by trade. I have my education degree as my background. And I just have this strong passion for designing and delivering material and training to help leaders elevate how they show up for their people. And because I have such a strong, rich experience in the construction sector in this specific industry, I take a lot of pride and passion in customizing these types of workshops so that leaders that are in these industries can see the direct application right away. And so I was just navigated to do more of that work. And so about 5 years ago, I went out on my own. I'm an independent contractor with Stratford Group, and now I provide training and development for leaders all day, every day. It's great.
Awesome. Thanks, Jennie. So again, obviously, we're talking about this virtual leadership series, and Jennie will play a big role in it because she's going to be teaching it. So Jennie, do you mind just starting off by just talking about the format of the leadership series? What that entails for those listening today?
Absolutely. So we are designing 4 independent workshops that make up a series or a program, if you will. They will all be offered virtually via Zoom. They're 2 hours in length, and they are not going to be your typical boring Zoom meeting. They are going to be interactive, highly engaging. I am going to do my best to keep everybody's focus and to keep everybody excited about the content and the material. So I design them specifically with that in mind. I don't want to sit and lecture to somebody for 2 hours, especially on a computer. And so we're going to be breaking into discussion groups. We're going to be interacting with some other tools, electronic tools that we can use to share ideas, collaborate, and just kind of come together as a group of participants with very similar issues, challenges, questions around leadership.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Jennie. I know we were talking about, doing an education series. I know it's something JL was really pushing, and obviously it's so relevant right now. And, I always bring, the millennial aspect to the group. And, one of the big things is like, we're all so busy right now. We don't want to hop on and just listen to like a lecture and stuff. So that was like, one thing we really were hopeful for. So, I think that's great, Jennie, that you have that aspect in this series that it's going to be inclusive. There's going to be obviously a listening aspect. You're going to be engaged. You're going to meet with other people in this industry, so we're really looking forward to that. And then JL, we'll just kind of go over to you. Obviously you had a big part in getting this leadership series up and running. Jennie gave us a few different modules or topics that we were thinking about, and we ended up going with this leadership series. So did you maybe want to start just talking on the modules and what those entail? And I know you had some insight on picking those, so maybe just let the viewers know about that and what this series is going to entail.
Yeah, so it was really important to us that we put together a program with Jennie. She has a lot to offer, and she provided us with 20 plus options. So we chose to do something that focused on leadership. We went out to our membership. We asked them questions. We asked them their input. We want to make sure that we're providing our members and our affiliated partners with what they actually want, not what we perceive that they want. So we're pretty excited when this was presented to us, and our membership just said, yes, we want leadership. We want to understand. We need better tools to be able to do our job and engage our team. So we approached Jennie, and she provided us with a bunch of different options, and we're excited to show you what we've got today. One thing I do want to mention is it's not women only. Right now, we've got quite a few signed up already, and it's about 50-50 men and women. So it's a great mix. I'm pretty excited about that. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands it's a good mix of male and females, and all types of leaders. You're a leader in every course of your life. So it's open to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks so much, Judy-Lynn. And going back on that and, what this course entails, and it's open to obviously both men and women, and something we're talking about is what these participants can get out of it. Obviously it's great to, have a course, say you've taken it, you obviously have those hard skills where you can show them in your day-to-day work life. But Judy-Lynn, I think it was actually you who brought this up, and we're just waiting to get approval on it. So for this course, there's again the 4 modules, which we'll get into later, but these course hours can be used towards the Gold Seal certification application for credits. Again, we're just waiting for subject to credit approval upon review. So every 6 hours of learning equals 1 Gold Seal credit. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. We're waiting on, the official, obviously, approval of this, but that's, I think, a great aspect for people to know about. Because again, when you're taking a course, it's obviously great to have those hard skills and stuff, but it's also could be part of something in that bigger picture with the Gold Seal accredited program. So that's awesome. So going into more of a deep dive into this series. So as mentioned, there's going to be 4 modules. Each one will be taken over once a month. So January, February, April, and May. So the first module is going to be Essentials of Leading Others. So that'll be the first one to kick off. So Jennie, do you kind of want to just talk about, that first module, what people can expect that first session, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I'm so grateful that JL and the team saw the value in these 4. I think the 4 that we have pulled together that we're offering as, a workshop or a series is important because they're all important independently of one another. But the reason that this is being offered to you as a program is that our hope is that you take all 4 in the series because they all build upon one another. And so the first one is really around the essentials of leading others. And I'm not sure who said it, if it was Rachael, you or JL, but this is open to any definition of what we call leadership. And so you may be a supervisor or a manager and have direct reports. This is for you. If you're an individual contributor in your organization and you have no humans that you're responsible for, this is for you. If you're coming to this thinking, how can I use this so I can show up better in what I do day to day? That could be you in your job. That could be you at home. That could be you as a mom, as a dad, as a friend. All of the skills that you're going to learn, not just in the first module, but all 4, are going to help you in all those facets of your life. So we start with the essentials because really we're talking about what are those core fundamental pieces that are important to being a great leader. And a lot of this has to do with mindset. And I'm going to just kind of put this out here. The first module and all the 3 that follow it, so all 4 in total, are extremely self-reflective. And that might scare some folks, but it might excite others because we know to be a great leader, we have to understand how we're showing up. And so that first module really is a deep dive into understanding what does it really mean to lead? What mindset do I need to have if I'm going to be successful as a leader, and if those that I'm interacting with are going to be successful? And what's my awareness level like right now in terms of how I'm currently showing up? And so I think those are all important components to start a program like this around. So that's really the essence of Module 1.
Awesome. Thanks so much. JL, is there anything you wanted to add on Module 1? I know you had a big part in picking these modules, and we were chatting just before we started recording how, you within your company, obviously you're high up CFO, and you're really pushing your staff right now to take this course. So is there anything you kind of want to hit on for who this module can hit, and any other insight you want to give on this?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting when just discussing amongst my coworkers this program and the feedback you get, and some of the men right away is, well, it's not for me, it's a women only, and some of the staff that doesn't have a direct report were like, well, it's not for me, I'm not a manager. And you're a leader whether you want to be or not. Somebody's always looking at you. It's your kids, your coworkers. Even at a very young age, you'll see natural leaders in the playground, and you're a leader and you grow in your life experiences. So you might not have been a leader yesterday, but some life experience happened to you and you became a leader tomorrow. So this is everybody. It's an all-inclusive, and whether you know it or like it, you're a leader in some facet of your life.
For sure. And I think that's so good too, that we're opening it up to everyone, because not everyone's going to have a Jennie or a JL at the workplace. They may not have that female leadership role. So I think, opening it up to males as well. It's like you could have, some females or different leadership styles you're going to have to hit on. So I think that's great that, we're opening up to everyone and we give everyone that opportunity to gain these skills. Because like we started this committee for a reason. The workforce is getting more diverse with women especially. So I think that's great. We're opening up to everyone. So thank you both for that. And then we'll dive into module 2, which is your style at work. So that will be the second module, which will take place in February. So Jennie, what can participants look forward to for that second module?
So as promised, module 2 will build off of module 1. In module 1, you're understanding about mindset. You're seeing where your own mindset is in relation to what we're going to be teaching you around what I call elevated leadership, transformational leadership. I made a joke right before we hit record. I'm not in the business of remedial leadership training, right? Like, this isn't you're all broken and I have to fix you. This is, I'm hoping great leaders are coming to this program, because I always do this joke. And whoever takes the course will hear me say this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1, I suck, I stink, I'm awful. 10, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, I'm the best in the world. Where do you rate yourself as a leader? And I've been doing this for 20 something years. I could probably count on one hand the number of people who've said 10, which tells me, and should tell all of us, that nobody really thinks they're the perfect leader. And there's a lot of reasons why that is, right? And so this is really for everybody looking to move from a 3 to a 4 or an 8 to a 9, right? It's all about just kind of getting better and continuing our development. So module 2 is really around going a bit deeper into who am I as a leader, whether that's with direct reports, because I'm a manager, whether it's with trades, in my area of work, whether it's with different colleagues of mine across departments in my organization, whether it's as a mom with my kids. And so it's really understanding how I am showing up as a leader. I've got a fun tool we're going to use to kind of start putting a little bit more specifics to what that might look like. And then gaining just kind of a greater awareness around what are my strengths as a leader right now, currently, where are my opportunities or my areas to improve or strengthen or further develop. And then the second half of module 2 is about, if I know this about me, how do I leverage that information to get the best and most out of others? And so there's a bit in here around what I call speed reading people. We're already doing this, by the way. We can do this for our kids. We know our husbands or our wives. We're already doing this. And if we work with people long enough and we see these patterns of behaviors, we're doing this subconsciously on a daily basis. Elevated leaders take that subconscious information and use it to get more and the best out of the teams and the people that we're working with. And I always joke, it's not malicious and evil if it's coming from somewhere good. If it's coming from, I want our project to be a success, I want my team to thrive, I want Fred specifically to do well, then it's coming from a good place. And great leaders tap into that knowledge and do what we call flexing or adapting their leadership style to get the best and most out of the people that they're interacting with. And it's a real customized approach. I always joke, especially in our industry, gone are the days of the old school leader who comes in and says, this is how I lead, it's my way, you guys have to adapt to me. We know how effective that is. We have to start shifting to, this is my style of leadership. These are my strengths. These are my gaps. These are my areas of opportunity. Let me learn about each of the people that I interact with so that I can customize how I show up for them. Who do they need me to be so that they can be successful?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I like that, Jennie. And not only are you going to learn about yourself, but you're also going to learn about others and maybe a better way to approach a situation in the future. Everybody, what I like about these courses is it's a lot of self-reflecting, but it's also, well, what do they need?
Right.
You learn about your staff, you learn about your coworkers, you learn about your kids. It's a better way to approach in general.
Right.
It's just so funny. Everything, like I said, goes full circle. Because like Jennie said it perfectly, I mean, me personally, again, with my generation stuff, but when, I first entered the workforce, it was just this is how I'm going to lead. This is what it is. And, unfortunately, that's just not the way it is right now. And, like we said, the workforce is getting more diverse. There's different people entering it. It's not the way it used to be. So I think that's great, Jennie, that you just hit on it and just how relevant it is to obviously this industry that we're in, and mechanical contracting or construction in general. So I think that's a great, I'm really excited for that module personally, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so we got halfway done right now, so we got 2 more to go. So the third module, which will take place in April, that's going to be on motivating and inspiring others. So that's the third module. So we have the first 2, essentials of leading others, your style at work. So what's going to happen in this third module, Jennie?
Yeah. And it was like a great little segue right there from, kind of gone is the effectiveness of that old school style of leadership. And you can see module 3 is now going to build on this idea of, if I know myself and I'm reading others and I'm customizing and flexing my leadership approach to get the best and most out of those that I'm interacting with on a day-to-day basis, that's going to help me understand what motivates and inspires those people. Because we know that if we're working with 3-4 people, the one thing isn't necessarily the motivator for all 4. If we've got more than one kid at home, we know that what motivates kid 1 might be a demotivator for kid 2.
Yep.
And so again, it's this idea around paying attention, observing, and sometimes through trial and error, sometimes through just feedback and asking, we start to get an idea of what motivation is. How can we leverage that again to get the most out of the people that we're interacting with? This idea around inspiring and engaging others. I always joke that, leadership's a big job, and that alone, like, whoa, you want me to inspire people? You want me to, ensure engagement? Yep. Like that's what showing up as a leader is. And to JL's point, this could be the CFO creating that engagement. This could be the co-op student you hired for 4 months. Right. So leadership spans quite a wide definition in this program. And so module 3 is all around inspiring what I call a shared purpose, connecting people to the bigger why is another way to look at that. Understanding what motivation is, where does it come from? How do I influence it as a leader? And applying this customized individual approach. So we talk about self-reflection, folks that are signing up for this program, for these workshops, come with those people that you work with day to day in your mind. Because the beauty about these workshops is you're going to have those opportunities to take what we're sharing and think about my Fred, my kid, my direct report, my colleague, and how I'm going to use this when I click goodbye on Zoom and go and put it in action. And so module 3 is all around that. And I do have to just touch on one other quick thing, Rachel, that you said, because our industry is changing and we've got new generations coming in, we have such a diverse workforce that we're interacting with on a day-to-day. This module touches on just the sheer diversity. And if we go in with that old school mentality of same carrot for everyone, my style of leadership for everyone, we know our industries are tapped for talent. We know that people leave companies because of bad leaders. They don't leave because of the organization. They leave because of a bad boss, right? So we have this profound, I feel, responsibility, actually scratch responsibility, privilege of providing the best leadership that we can to the people that we're interacting with, whether they're our employees, our colleagues, our friends, our partners, our stakeholders, our clients, whoever that might be.
Yeah. I think that's such just, the motivate inspires others is just so relevant right now. And JL, hopefully you can touch more on it. Like Jennie touched on, the workforce is scarce right now in our industry. We're trying to find ways to keep people, to attract people to the trades. Like, how important is it for like the Servcos and the big companies, small companies right now, JL, to motivate, inspire others in hopes to, attract people to this industry and not only attract, but keep them in this industry.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is recognizing that no matter what your title or position is, you're influencing and you are a leader. I recently witnessed a young lady receive some feedback from a coworker on how she had received and read and interpreted an email. And she wasn't a manager, but this coworker was influenced into a course of action, and the person that sent the email was surprised because she didn't feel like a leader. She didn't think she was a leader. She was just a coworker. And yeah, it doesn't matter title or position. You're influencing and you're affecting, change, good and bad. So to have great leaders and great people in your company attract great people.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks you both so much. So just to wrap up the modules now, so we have module 4, which will take place in May. We have the coaching and feedback. So Jennie, can you touch on that last module and how it's going to tie in those awesome first 3 modules?
Absolutely. So, I mean, when you think about, I think I heard the term hard skills that managers or leaders or supervisors are trying to learn. We always think of things around feedback, performance management, delegation, setting goals, all those things. And they're all super important. I would say, though, that the number one challenge or issue that a lot of my coaching clients come to me with, that a lot of our Stratford clients come to us for help with, usually 95% of the time is around feedback. And what I know from my HR background and whatnot, in terms of engagement surveys and exit interviews with employees who leave companies, is I never got any feedback. They never talked to me about that. I didn't know about that. Or I got feedback, but when we dig deeper, it wasn't clear. It wasn't communicated properly. And so we know feedback is an integral part of getting other people to be successful. And it's an integral part of me showing up, how I need to show up for my people. What we know about feedback is some people feel great giving the good feedback, right? Recognition, no problem. I can do that, right? Some people feel a little bit nervous about giving constructive feedback for a lot of reasons. Right? They don't want to damage relationships. They don't want to hurt someone's feelings. They don't want that person to quit. And so we either avoid it, or we sugarcoat it, or we're not specific enough. And so module 4 really is around taking what I call a coach approach to feedback. And it's a different way, one, of viewing why you're giving the person feedback. And when you learn kind of that rationale behind it, it sometimes, just learning that alone, relaxes people who are nervous about giving constructive feedback. I always say, if you care about the people that you are leading, if you care about the people that you work with, you owe it to them to give them that feedback. And so we're going to spend some time, actually, I'm going to teach 2 very simple ways or strategies on approaching feedback. One is for recognition, because even though we might feel better about giving that one, we still don't give it right. So I'm going to give a tool on that. And then a really cool tool on how to give constructive feedback with a coach approach. What's amazing about that is folks that I've taught it to have told me many times, Jennie, thank you. I'm using it with my team, but it works so great at home. I'm using it on my kids. And so this is a skill that truly is transferable across all facets of your life. If you ever owe someone feedback, you probably are going to tap into this tool.
We're gonna have to join with the Canadian Parents Forum or something. Be like, actually, this is WIMC, but if you're that's awesome. I love when things obviously are just relevant, and I think that's so good. And I think module 4, just hearing what you talk about it, I think that's just such a powerful thing, because some people just hold it off to the end of the year, like you said, just that year-end review. They have a year of things building, and then all of a sudden this employee's like, okay, so you're telling me I either was great at my job all year, I had no idea, and I was miserable, or the opposite. I had all these things that I could have been working on, and now it's the end of the year and I have to fix it all, going into next year. So I think that's great. JL, is there anything you wanted to add to that coaching and feedback session? Because obviously, again, that's something you probably do in your role. And
one of the things that I tend to do, or and I try not to do now, is you tend to lead how you want to be led. And as you start to engage with an intentional leadership role, it's important to learn their style of learning to be an effective leader. And that's something that, the more I learn, realize how much more I do need to learn, and trying to understand that my learning and how I want to be led is generally not the way that my team wants to be led. So it's constantly learning how to approach different personalities and how to get them to feel heard and for it to be effective. And so, yeah, I love that. I'm looking forward to these sessions, Jenny.
JL, I have to jump in really quickly if it's okay. You made this comment that is so important, and I actually cover this in one of the modules. So this is a little sneak peek, right? But we actually debunk the golden rule that we were all taught when we were young. I always joke, like, has anybody heard the golden rule? Like, maybe you learned it at church, maybe your grandma taught it to you, maybe it's embroidered on a pillow sitting in your couch right now, right? Like, it's that phrase, right? Like, treat others the way I would like to be treated. And it sounds beautiful. It sounds wonderful. It sounds like a life skill that I should strive towards. But in leadership, we say no, because what it's suggesting is lead others the way you like to be led. And if you've got one person on your team that is aligned with you, it's going to work with them. But what about the rest of the people that you interact with? So, we talk about that in the module around just kind of shifting our mindset around how we're showing up and who are we showing up for. Leadership is not about you. Leadership is about the people that you're leading, the people that you're interacting with. It's about them. So I think Rachael said it in the intro. How am I creating conditions of success for other people? And every module, if you go back now and look at those 4 modules, with that frame in mind, how am I creating conditions of success? By knowing myself, by reading others, by motivating, by providing feedback. It all starts shifting how you view your role as a leader.
I'm so excited now because obviously, I know we're saying like, so people, just a background, like obviously the committee, we know so much about it, but like Jenny's not going to be like, this is the course and like obviously just gives a taste. And I keep getting more and more of a taste. I was like, oh, I just can't wait to have the whole meal now. So I know we're all so excited, and I hope those listening, have the same excitement, because I think, like I said, it's such a relevant topic. It's a great program that, with Jenny and the committee that we've kind of put on. So I think just to wrap up the modules and stuff, JL, do you mind just touching on real quick, how people can register and what it entails? Because I know we kind of did a little launch of it and it seems to be a hot topic and people are jumping on fast. So do you mind just giving those listening some info on how they can register and what this is going to look like for, the sessions?
Yeah, you can go online. We've got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. There'll be links on all of our social media pages to click and register, sign up for the initiative, and you'll list your first name, last name, your company, and there's 50 spots available per session. So we are excited because they're selling out fast.
Yeah, so hopefully, our awesome tech person Jess can I'll do a little arrow like sign up here, click this link. I don't know if Jess can do that or not. But yeah, so just to kind of wrap up, and again, I think you all hit those modules so great. Again, if anyone has any questions or wants to get more info, like JL said, make sure you sign up for our WIMC initiative. We do newsletters, these podcasts, so always stay in the know. But just kind of going back to you ladies and tying this all together, and obviously Jenny and Judy-Lynn, you are what I think such great role models in this industry, and just to kind of give people a little bit more motivation to sign up for this course. Can you both share one valuable lesson your job has taught you that you believe everyone should learn at some point in their life? When I read that question, I was very curious about your answers, so I'll give you all a little second to think about it. But again, I know you, like I said, you both are such great leaders and stuff, and those who are thinking about the course. And Jay, I'll maybe start with you if you can share that one valuable lesson your job has taught you.
You know what? I think that, as a leader at work, at home, and in your families, understanding that everyone sees things, hears things, and interprets things differently. And one of the things that I like to say at work and at home is perception is everything. So it's really important that you, regardless of how you intend something, it's more important how they perceive. And so I think that one of my personal situations was I was working through a challenging situation with one of the individuals that works for me, and you could tell that she wasn't quite getting it, and she was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll accept it. And I was like, no, hang on, because you're not going to leave feeling great. I'm not letting you leave my office feeling great. So let me rephrase that. And so I was able to, I reworded it and did it one more time, and she's still, you know, a little bit better, but not quite there. And so I did it again, and I felt like she understood the concept. She understood, she could articulate it, and she could follow through with re-engaging and delivering the message that was intended. A couple days later, she came back and she said, you know, I appreciate the fact that you did that, because it would have been easy for you. You're busy. It was easy for you just to kind of stop. I accepted it and I moved on because I'm trusting you. But it was really important that I didn't just listen, that I actually understood and believed and was able to articulate myself appropriately. So that was really telling for me that, you know, sometimes you have to listen to what they're not saying.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, again, you know, obviously going back to these modules, I think that's such a great lesson that can be learned in this, because yeah, you know, it's so easy to say, yeah, whatever, next, but you know, just to hone in and again, know that person's style and how they receive it is so important. How about you, Jenny? What's one thing, obviously, you know, could be relevant to today? Obviously, you have a diverse history like JL with, you know, your work history. So whether it be right now or in a past job, what's the one valuable lesson your job has taught you?
I feel compelled to share something quite significant that kind of formed how I showed up early in my career as an individual contributor, then eventually as a leader, then eventually running a department, and then eventually, you know, running my own business. And it was a mentor that I had very early on, very young, coming into our industry, which was extremely male dominated at the time, still is extremely male dominated. And she gave me some great advice and a few things that she shared with me. One, she said, Jenny, you need to take up space. And she meant that, I realized, both literally and figuratively. And that really was around, you know, taking up my space at the boardroom table, like spreading out my things. But it also meant me voicing my thoughts, having an opinion and sharing my opinion, you know, contributing to the conversation. And I just remember her constantly telling me, you know, even when she wasn't there, like, take up space, Jenny, take up space. And so that has become, I think, a fundamental leadership tip that I give when I'm coaching people, and whether it's around providing someone with feedback, communicating effectively. JL, I loved your story, because we will always believe what we see over what we hear every single time. I teach a workshop on this, right? I can tell you, I'm not mad, I'm fine. And you're going to believe not my words, you're going to believe what you see, right? And so body language is huge. So take up space is the first one. The other thing that she imparted on me that has formed how I showed up all these years and what I teach now is, as leaders, we have to be intentional. For, you know what, as people, we need to be intentional. And to me, that means we're strategic, we're forward focused, we pay attention, we declare our intentions. And one of the things that people who sign up for this program series are going to hear me say, we have to stop leading by assumption and start leading intentionally. And so I don't want to give too much away, because I want to save it for the workshops, but take up space and be intentional.
Awesome.
That's
And yeah,
fabulous. Every time I talk to Jenny, I get more excited about the whole 8 hours.
Yeah.
Spread out. It's not 8 hours of Jenny.
Yeah.
It's kind of spread out.
8 hours over 5 months. That's not so bad.
Yeah. And that, yeah, like JL's, I'm just so excited. And, you know, obviously someone who's still, like, I've only been in this industry for a couple of years now. And even just stuff like this, I've just learned so much personally just by listening to you two talk the last half an hour, 40 minutes. And I'm just so excited to not only like listen to Jenny and, you know, the course, but, you know, that interactive piece, because I think that's like where the learning really happens, and hearing those personal experiences, you know, that you both just shared. So thank you both for that. And, you know, I hope this will encourage others to come to the course and, you know, hopefully have the platform to share those opportunities. And whether, you know, you learn from Jenny herself, obviously, is the hope. But if, you know, you get that second learning opportunity, where I think, you know, is really good, and what JL touched on, that, you know, it's not just a lecture course we're trying to do, it's a series. It's, you know, it's, yes, you listen to this, you interact with that person. So I think you all just kind of wrap that up so good. And yeah, speaking of wrapping up, we're coming to the end of our time here. So thank you both again for coming. And just to end things off, is there one last piece, you all, Jennie, you want to talk about the course itself that we may have forgot, or JL, the committee, or the course itself? Is there anything you all just kind of want to leave the viewers with, if anything we missed out on? I'll let Jennie go first on that. I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think I would just say, if you're toying with the idea of joining, join. If it's crossing your mind, you're thinking, would this benefit me? Could I get anything? Yes, just, you won't regret it, I promise. And the other thing that I just want to point out too is that what I've designed and developed is for women and men. As mentioned, it's anybody can join. Even those tips I just shared, as a young woman in the construction industry early in my career, take up space, be intentional, those are for our male counterparts as well. So these are not, there's nothing in here that is, if you're a woman leader, you need to learn this. If you're a man leader, you need to learn this. It's all the same hard data.
Yeah.
It's our experience. It's our experiences as individuals, whether we're male, female, old, young, green, seasoned. That's what contributes. So come with an open mind. Come with your challenges, because I guarantee you everyone else on there probably has the same ones. And come with a willingness to do some self-reflecting and a promise to yourself that you will take one thing, just one thing away from each module, and that between the two modules, you will practice or put that into action. Because the way I've designed this is, when we come back together the second time, the third time, the fourth time, you have an opportunity to reflect on how did it go. And I think that builds in an element of accountability. We all can go to great training, but if we do nothing with it, how valuable was our time? Yeah. So I want this to be more than just a training workshop. I mean, I can wow you, I can be great, you can have an awesome time in the 2 hours on Zoom, but if you do nothing with it, how valuable was that investment of your time, your money? So I want to give you that opportunity to do that.
I love that, Jennie. And I mean, every time you take a course, you realize how much more there is that other people have that you haven't tapped into, and different perspectives just make you a better listener, and a better listener makes good, great leaders. So I'm pretty excited about this. Thanks everything you're doing, and all the leadership knowledge that we're going to gain from you.
I'm looking forward to it.
So that's our time for today. Again, thank you both so much. Jennie, thank you for coming on, and obviously we're looking forward to having you out next year. Judy-Lynn, our chair of the committee, thank you so much for finally coming on the podcast. It only took me 4 episodes. And obviously, Judy-Lynn, for those listening and who are part of the initiative, had a huge role in pushing this and stuff. So obviously, thank you so much for bringing this to light. And I'm, like I said, and I think the consensus was today is just how excited the committee is. And I know just by the amount of people who signed up, we're really looking forward to it. So thank you both for coming on today. And yeah, everyone stay tuned for, the one round is already opened, and obviously it's a hot commodity. So keep an eye out for the second round of modules. And as always, sign up for our initiative. It's a great committee, and we always are putting out different education series, newsletters, and all that fun stuff. So thank you for listening to The Voice, episode 4, and we will see you all next time.